Hello, and welcome to English Podcast with Larry and Mark, the place where you improve your English through simple, natural, and meaningful conversations. I'm Larry.
And I'm Mark. Hello, everyone. Today we're learning how to talk naturally about your personality in English.
We'll explore useful personality words, natural expressions, and simple ways to describe who you really are, not just with words like good, nice, or friendly.
So relax, listen carefully, and think about your own personality as we talk.
Here's a question for you. If someone asked, "What are you like?" could you answer confidently in English? Maybe you know exactly who you are, but you don't know the English words to describe yourself. Before the end of this episode, that answer should feel much easier.
Larry, let me start with you. How would you describe your personality?
I'd say I'm calm, curious, and pretty easygoing. I enjoy meeting people, but I also need quiet time to recharge.
Interesting. You use the word easygoing. What exactly does that mean?
An easygoing person is relaxed and doesn't become upset easily. For example, Larry is easygoing, so he doesn't worry about small problems.
I like that word. I think I'm quite outgoing, especially when I'm around people I know.
That's another useful word. An outgoing person enjoys meeting people, talking, and being socially active. If you enjoy conversations and feel comfortable around new people, you could say, "I'm quite outgoing."
But what about someone who prefers quieter situations?
They might describe themselves as reserved or introverted. A reserved person usually doesn't share their feelings or opinions immediately. They may need time before they feel comfortable with someone.
So being reserved doesn't necessarily mean being unfriendly.
Exactly. That's an important distinction. Someone can be quiet and still be warm, kind, and interesting.
I think people sometimes say, I am very shy, when what they really mean is, I'm quiet around new people.
Yes, shy usually means you feel nervous or uncomfortable in social situations. You might say, I'm a little shy when I meet someone for the first time, but I become more talkative once I feel comfortable.
That sounds much more natural than simply saying, I am shy.
Let's imagine a young woman named Emma. She recently started a new job at a marketing company. On her first day, one of her colleagues asked, "So, Emma, tell us a little about yourself. What are you like?"
That's exactly the kind of question that can make an English learner nervous.
Emma knew many English words, but she suddenly couldn't think of anything interesting. She smiled and said, "I'm a good person. I'm nice and hardworking."
Nothing is wrong with that answer, but it sounds a little basic.
Exactly. Later that evening, Emma decided she wanted to describe herself more naturally, so she began thinking about how she actually behaved in different situations.
What did she discover?
First, Emma realized that she loved organizing things. At work, she created lists, planned her week in advance, and rarely forgot deadlines.
So she could describe herself as organized.
Exactly. She could say, "I'm quite organized. I like planning things ahead of time." The phrase "ahead of time" means earlier than necessary, or before something happens.
For example, I usually prepare for meetings ahead of time.
Perfect. Emma also realized that friends often came to her when they had problems. She listened carefully and tried to understand how they were feeling.
Would supportive be a good word?
Very good. A supportive person encourages and helps other people. Emma could say, "My friends describe me as supportive because I'm always willing to listen."
What about thoughtful?
That works too. A thoughtful person considers other people's feelings and needs. For example, remembering a friend's important interview and sending them an encouraging message is thoughtful.
So far, Emma sounds almost perfect.
And nobody is perfect, Mark. Talking naturally about your personality also means being able to discuss characteristics you're still working on.
That's true. What was Emma's weakness?
She sometimes worried too much about small mistakes. After sending an email, she might read it 3 more times and wonder, did I say something wrong?
We could say she tends to overthink things.
Exactly. Overthink means to think about something too much. especially until it causes unnecessary worry. Emma could say, I sometimes overthink things, but I'm learning to trust myself more.
I like that sentence because it mentions a weakness without sounding extremely negative.
That's a useful technique when describing yourself. Instead of saying, I'm impatient, you could say, I can be a little impatient sometimes, but I'm working on it.
Or instead of saying, I'm disorganized, you could say, organization doesn't always come naturally to me, so I use lists to stay on track.
Exactly. Good English isn't only about vocabulary. It's also about expressing ideas with balance. You can be honest about your weaknesses while showing that you understand yourself. Larry, what's the difference between confident and arrogant? I think learners sometimes confuse those words. Great question. A confident person believes in their abilities and feels comfortable with themselves. An arrogant person believes they're better or more important than other people.
So saying, I'm confident can be positive?
Absolutely. You might say, I'm confident when speaking about subjects I know well, but saying, I'm better than everyone else sounds arrogant.
Here's another pair, ambitious and competitive.
An ambitious person strongly wants to achieve something, especially in their career or personal life. For example, I'm ambitious and I have clear goals for my future.
And competitive?
A competitive person enjoys trying to win or perform better than others. That can be positive in sports or work, but being too competitive can sometimes create problems.
So someone could say, I'm ambitious, but I try not to be overly competitive.
Exactly. The next day, Emma went back to work. During lunch, she was talking with a colleague named Daniel when he asked, Emma, what do you usually do on weekends? Emma said she enjoyed visiting cafes, reading, and spending time with a small group of close friends. Daniel smiled and said, So you're an introvert? Emma thought for a moment. Then she said, Maybe a little, but I think I'm somewhere in the middle. I enjoy being around people, but I also enjoy being alone.
That's a very natural answer.
Yes, personality doesn't always fit perfectly into one category. You can be outgoing with close friends and reserved around strangers. You can be confident at work and shy at a party. People are complicated.
Exactly, and that makes personality interesting.
There's another word I really like, open-minded.
Yes, an open-minded person is willing to consider ideas, opinions, or lifestyles that are different from their own. You might say, I try to be open-minded and listen to different points of view.
The opposite would be narrow-minded, right?
Correct, although that sounds quite negative. If you're describing yourself in an interview or professional situation, you probably don't want to say, I'm narrow-minded.
Probably not the best strategy.
Emma kept practicing these personality words during the week. Instead of memorizing long lists, she connected every word with a real example from her own life. For reliable, she remembered that friends trusted her to keep promises. For patient, she thought about helping her younger brother with homework without becoming frustrated.
That's actually a great vocabulary learning method.
It is. A word becomes easier to remember when it's connected to your own experience. So if you learn adventurous, ask yourself, am I adventurous? When was the last time I tried something new?
And if you learn independent, ask, do I like solving problems by myself?
Exactly.
What does reliable mean, by the way?
A reliable person is someone other people can trust or depend on. For example, my colleagues know I'm reliable because I always complete my work on time.
That's a strong word for job interviews.
Very strong. Other useful professional personality words include adaptable, responsible, motivated, creative, and detail-oriented.
Can you explain adaptable?
An adaptable person can adjust when circumstances change. You might say, I'm adaptable, so I'm comfortable learning new systems and working in different situations.
After all this practice, did Emma get another opportunity to describe herself?
She did. A few weeks later, her manager asked her to join a new project team. During the first meeting, everyone introduced themselves. Then someone asked Emma, "How would you describe yourself?" This time, she didn't panic. She said, "I describe myself as organized and supportive. I'm a little reserved when I first meet people, but once I feel comfortable, I'm quite talkative."
Much better than I'm nice and hardworking.
Don't try to memorize 20 impressive adjectives and use all of them at once. Choose 3 or 4 words that genuinely describe you. Then connect each word with a simple explanation or example.
For example, I'm quite curious. I love learning about new ideas and asking questions.
Perfect. Or, I'm easygoing. I usually stay calm when plans suddenly change. Those short explanations make your English sound much more natural.
Let's quickly review some expressions from today.
Easygoing means relaxed and not easily upset. Outgoing means sociable and comfortable meeting people.
Supportive means willing to help and encourage others. Reliable means someone people can trust.
Open-minded means willing to consider different ideas. Adaptable means able to adjust to changes.
And overthink means to think about something so much that it creates unnecessary worry.
Now, think about yourself. Not the person you think you should be, the person you actually are. Are you calm or energetic? Reserved or outgoing? Organized, creative, curious, ambitious, supportive? Maybe a mixture of many things. Your personality isn't something you need to describe perfectly. You simply need the right words to express it honestly. And remember, your weaknesses don't cancel your strengths. You can be shy and brave. You can overthink and still be confident. You're allowed to be a work in progress.
So after this episode, try answering one simple question aloud. How would you describe your personality?
Use 3 personality words and give a short example for each one. That small exercise can make a huge difference to your speaking confidence.
Thank you for spending this time with us.
If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe to English Podcast with Larry and Mark for more natural conversations and English practice.
And tell us in the comments, which 3 words best describe your personality?
Keep listening, keep speaking, and keep discovering new ways to express yourself in English.
Goodbye.